The following presentation is a production of WLWstudios.com. Listening to the Midnight Jury, coming to you out of Philadelphia. What are you making? You're making faces now?
Yeah, why not?
All right, we'll tell everybody why. As we are in our new studio for the first time, technically as a group, Studio C here at WLW Studios. I am, of course, one of your hosts, the 21st century broadcasting marvel, Midnight Mike Norenganger.
I am the Blair Adam Henning.
That wasn't that bad. We are in our new studio, and as I said, what are you making faces? I just said that to Adam. You just heard it. And it's because we're actually testing out the technology of the new studio, which actually allows us to do video.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
State of the art.
And so hopefully, and we're gonna have to get used to it because I notice you keep looking at your camera, and I keep looking at my camera, and we're gonna kind of have to get used to that.
Where else are we gonna look?
At each other when we're talking to each other.
But then we're looking away from the camera and away from the people watching.
I guess, but
I don't think it really matters where we look.
Well, honestly. Either way. This footage may never see the light of day. We don't know. This is honestly, we are just testing out the technology, and it's hopefully for in the future. I have a little plan because we neglect our YouTube page like crazy. Although there's a lot of great interviews, Jake the Snake, Buff Bagwell, the Dollhouse from TNA. There's a bunch of great interviews up there. There's a bunch of other material up there, and our first 3 shows, which are kind of embarrassing now to listen back to, are on there. So we've been neglecting it, and my thought was, okay, we're getting into this new studio, let's get ourselves camera and start being able to video. Hopefully eventually it'll be me, you, Cal, all on video, and then like I said, up here over in the studio over here, I'd like to get a camera that gets all 3 of us.
Yeah.
So that we can go to different angles or show all 4 angles. I think that'd just be really cool. And so in the future, it wouldn't be like we'd release an entire Midnight Jury on video. It would just be like random 20-minute segments that we decide to just sit down and talk about, and those would go exclusively on our YouTube page.
Yeah. Well, up until that point, we are exclusively dedicated to the people listening to the show.
That's correct.
So
I have to cover the label for copyright purposes.
Oh yeah, good. Well, maybe they'd appreciate the endorsement.
This beer is very friendly on Twitter. If you give them good shout outs, they, maybe it's just because I'm special.
Well, it's Yingling.
Don't say it. We'll bleep that out.
So anyhow, I mean, today we are coming at the listeners with a horror topic.
Yeah, we are.
It's the Blair Witch Project Part 2.
Well, I think it's technically entitled Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2.
Okay. I had never seen it before watching it this time.
I had.
How many times had you seen it?
This is going to spoil, but I think I got it on VHS around the time it came out. I saw it in the theater, but for some reason, every time I went to the theater around that time, from like 97 to 2003, it's like those years are like a big blur to me. Even 2005, throw that in.
So are you saying that you don't remember?
I don't think I would have bought it
if you remembered
on VHS if I remembered it. And then I probably watched it once on VHS, and that was it. And then it was never seen again. I mean, to the point where I don't even know where my original tape of it was.
Where was it? You didn't find it?
I mean, originally it was with all my VHSs when I lived with my parents in like high school.
Did you find it for this viewing?
No, I've actually found a $1 copy. This is interesting. I found a $1 copy at, I think it was mostly books. I'm not positive, that was a specific video sent out before the release of it on DVD and VHS and all that to critics, specifically from Artisan Home Video.
That's the video
And-
that I thought I owned.
No, that's the one I own.
No, I know.
Yes, and actually during
I
the
had a false
feature,
memory.
it says on the bottom of the screen, this is property of Artisan Entertainment. And it has like on the back, it has all the information on how they're going to market it, the estimated gross, it's interesting. It's very interesting.
You should.
I wish I had it for a movie that was worth it.
Well, I'd like to see it when we do the body of the episode. I'd like to, maybe we can take a look at the box and talk about some of I'd like to see what their projected, net.
Well, on the box
Box
it
office
says the box is actually right over there in that where usually Cal would be sitting.
So we'll grab it for when we start.
Yeah,
go into
I
the
just
episode.
I don't know. It said estimated 30 million and something, and I don't know if they were estimating how much it was going to gross in the theaters, or if they were estimating how much it was going to gross in DVD VHS sales.
Probably probably whatever box office numbers don't take into consideration DVD and home video sales. Sometimes those far exceed box office.
Okay.
Like the Sandlot, for example,
Which is coming up next week
did 30 million
on the Midnight Jury.
30 million in box office, and I was like stunned. I was like, The Sandlot's such a huge movie, but it did 76 million in home video, in sales for home video and rentals. So it's like, so the point is that I think they were talking about the box office for on that box, and actually, the box office exceeded their projected number if it was 30 million, because I think it did 46 million if I'm not mistaken. But I knew that there were certain movies that we had bought at like FYE, when we were together, or like at places that we'd gone to, like, oh, this is something that's cheap that we'll wind up doing on the jury, and I knew that one of us had bought a copy of the Blair Witch 2, but I guess it was you.
Yeah.
And I like I said, I had this false notion that I had a VHS copy, but I didn't.
And since everybody knows that how much I kind of didn't like it, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think we did, what did we do? Where we did not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before that on our Christmas special, we did Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah.
And then this past Christmas, we did Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I said that was the biggest drop-off from a movie to a sequel that I think I'd ever done in the history of the Midnight Jury. Like, the biggest drop-off. This one might have beaten that. Because I'm pretty sure I ranked Blair Witch the same or a little bit higher than, Blair Witch and a little bit higher than Silent Night, Deadly Night. I'm not positive, though. We'd have to go back and check that out.
Part 2, you mean?
No, I mean part 1.
Oh.
Part 2 of both, I know that Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 got at least in the D range. I don't think I ended up failing it.
Well, I mean...
but it's amazing that it's come around so quick, but this is a drop-off.
I mean, there's no doubt about it that it's a drop-off, but I don't know if I could... I don't know if I'd agree with that. We'll certainly, completely, flesh out all of that stuff, but like, it's renowned. The movie is renowned for not being, for not being considered a quality sequel and for not being considered a quality movie in general. But I because that's all I had heard the whole time I'd ever heard about the Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows, or vice versa, however it actually is. It's only been really negative things. So I think when I was expecting such a horrible crap fest, I don't know, my expectations were tempered. So, I don't know. We'll get into it. I'll give my final review at the end, and we'll see how I felt about it. But it's not as bad as you, is what I'm saying.
Terrific. Thank you, Brother Henning. What's your middle name?
I don't have one.
Okay, you had to think about that.
I have a confirmation name, which is
I was just making a brother.
John.
I was just making a brother Nero
okay.
reference. Anyway, we are the Midnight Jury. We are, of course, available on WLWstudios.com, along with the Midnight Jury feeds on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and, of course, TuneIn Radio for your Roku TV. Please follow Adam, myself, and our co-host Cal, who's unfortunately not with us today, on Twitter at Midnight Jury. You can like us on Facebook at Midnight Jury, and follow the whole WLW Studios universe on Twitter and Facebook at Midnight or at WLW Studios. We have some ads, but of course, here is our TV show theme of the week.